Hello, this is Harmony. I'm going to talk about your thoughts. You want to recognize the negative train of thought or action quickly to stop it. Replace unhappy or angry thoughts or actions with positive ones in order to change the train of thinking from negative to positive. In the Bible, it tells us clearly on things to think on in Philippians 4:8. It reads, "Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue and if there be any praise, think on these things." Our thinking leads our feelings. We can lead our feelings in a positive direction. We can actually change how we feel. Isn't that amazing? We don't really ever think of that, do we? It's all in our minds. Are you the boss of your mind, or are your feelings taken over? How are you answering that question? This is how King Solomon puts it regarding a negative person in Proverbs 23:7. "For as he think in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, say he, to thee, but his heart is not with thee." Choose to think about things that are positive, and it will change your actions. Not only does our thinking lead our actions, but also our feelings often follow our actions. We can choose to take positive action after stopping a negative train of thought, even redirecting it, and choose to speak positively even if we don't feel like it right at the moment. Basically, we can act as if, and that's when we discover that because of the way our hearts and minds are wired, we do have the power to change our feelings. In 1 John 4:18, "There is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear, because fear hath torment. He that fear is not made perfect in love." And that's in 1 John 4:18. It truly all is in the mind. Like our son, he wants to jump higher because he's joining basketball, but he has to jump feet from the floor onto a box or something a couple feet up. And he was afraid, and he's like, "Oh, I can't do it." And we told him, "It's in your mind. Don't be afraid. Just jump." And he did it. He jumped. He took that fear away, put it aside, and jumped. You can't allow the feeling that you're feeling in your head, which is negative, to take over the positive. You just have to replace it with something positive, like the word says. It might be easier said than done, but pray and ask God to help you to get rid of the negative thoughts or feelings or fear, whatever it is that is hindering you from going forward. Here's a couple examples of a husband and wife situation. You think your wife doesn't appreciate you. Act as if she does, and you'll not only suddenly see evidence of her appreciation everywhere, but you'll start to feel much more affection from her. You don't really trust your husband's ability to keep the household together while you go on a trip. Act as if you do, and you'll not only see your husband's level rising, you might discover that the kids don't actually fall apart while you're away. You find yourself incredibly irritated at something your mate just did. Act as if you aren't and find something you can say thank you for instead, and you'll find the irritation really isn't a big deal after all. And of course, and just as vital, this applies in reverse as well. If you find yourself incredibly irritated and you tell your spouse and you mention it to your mom and you complain to your friends at work, you find that the irritation is becoming more and even bigger deal in your mind. In Proverbs 11:27, "He that diligently seeks good procure favor, but he that seeks mischief, it shall come unto him." Proverbs 11:25 has a great summary of both sides. If you search for good, you will find favor, but if you search for evil, it will find you. Ultimately, for better or for worse, it is often our actions that end up determining how we really feel. So think about the thoughts you think each day and change them